How did this come about that Zion Williamson just dropped in?
He just literally dropped in. We were actually talking about him. We was talking we were talking about the weight and the problems and having chefs and being an NBA player and being young. And while we're in the middle of that, he's walking past the window. And then he sees us, he's like, yo. And then he decided to come on in.
Okay. Asking that question about dieting can be a sensitive topic. We find out if we're fat shaming somebody. How much thought did you give to that of actually asking him about dieting?
None. We're athletes. It was always a concern of mine with him. When everyone was talking about 285, he's a beast, and I'm like 285 at 19. That's probably going to be a problem in the NBA because he hasn't touched the NBA weight. He hasn't went through the NBA schedule where we're doing more sitting than college, right? We're drinking Gatorades. We're on planes late night where we gain pounds during the season. I had a problem with that, right? I gained 20. I was at 224. I came in at 206 in training camp. By January, I was 224, and I was freaking out. I had to figure out, what am I doing wrong here playing 42 minutes a game?
But can you follow LeBron's regimen? I mean, you got to be disciplined, but LeBron's figured this out, Gilbert.
Yes, he has. He's very disciplined. He's very self-aware. But he's figured it out later on in his career. You remember there was a time where LeBron was 285. Remember we were doing comparisons of the first time he was in the Olympics, and we're like, he's 2 inches taller than Karl Malone. He's the same weight, right? He was on the heavier side, and he had to make that conscious decision. If he wanted to be a longevity player, he had to dial it down. So I think Zion now has realized that his biggest challenge will be maintaining a good, healthy weight for himself.
Yeah, I've said all along that his biggest opponent is himself, and trying to figure that out. Charles Barkley went through this. When you're the round mound of rebound in college, and then you get to the pros, Moses Malone kind of had to wake him up. Do the Pelicans have somebody who can sort of grab Zion and say, let's go through this together, or you've got to do this if you want to have any kind of longevity in the NBA?
Yeah, at the age, and I know some people's like, well, you're making it easy for him. No, I'm trying to make it easy for him. And the easy part is he's gonna need help. Because this is not an age where we're eating salad and kale and carrots and drinking water. Like, that's not that age. Like, when we were all 23, 24, we were still eating hamburgers and stuff. So he's going to still eat on the healthier side with steaks and stuff, but this is more lean fish, and his body is not ready for that. That is going to be a shell shock to him, and it's going to be miserable. And to lose weight, it can't be a miserable experience. It still has to be fun for you to stick with that diet. Like, I'm still having trouble breaking soda and donuts and cookies here and there. So it's one of those things where there has to be a player that's with him, that's helping him along, that has the same problem. And it's one of those two-man tandems. But you can see that he's really aware of it, and he's trying.
Did you talk about any of the other social media stuff with women with him?
No. And if anybody noticed, you have 3 NBA players there. We didn't even think of touching that subject because we know if that was us, we wouldn't want that to be talked about. This is one of those things where it was on a fly moment, right? No one expected it, but we all had the same sense of whatever he's going through in his personal life, leave it there. Let's keep it basketball related. Let's keep it to, what's really important here, right? We all have and made bad decisions when it comes to the women we choose. We're not perfect here. But that has nothing to do with how to perform. We need you on that court to be who you are.